Okay, here's a nice little trip. It's actually not technically part of the Tarka Trail, but here's the Tarka Trail shown for you, and it's like a figure of 8, 2 loops going through North, or through Devon really, right the way down to Oakhampton. And we're in the top section there, and we're just over on the left, and what we're doing is we're following the boundary of the area of outstanding natural beauty, and which is an old railway track. And we're going to start right in the very centre there, and then we head down and we do a bit of a loop. That's mostly road, and then we return back on ourselves, and then we take the trip that goes all the way down into Ilfracombe. It's really good, and actually a lot of the Tarka Trail doesn't actually follow the coast for cycling, so this is an excellent opportunity to be able to just chop that corner off, go between Ilfracombe and Braunton, and then from Braunton you can then pick up, which is just off the map to the bottom there, you can then pick up the Tarka Trail that goes round past Barnstaple, which is our other loop that we've got, the other route, and then it follows round to Bideford, and then you can take it from there back around and do the southern loop. So it's a really nice little trip. So we're starting there from the car park, and we head off here. Now this was just a little side issue, although that shows it as a triangle. Actually it was just a little cut off, and then we come round this loop that we're doing at the bottom, and you could have chopped that bit off as well, and then we return on the railway track all the way down to the bottom. It was quite dark and it was shady, and in all truth the weather was disgusting when we did it. We didn't know that Hurricane Eunice was on its way, so we booked a holiday, and you can see it was thick fog and pouring with rain. But we did it anyway, all the same, just for you. Well, maybe for us. But we're heading on, so we joined Route 27 here, and we turn left and we're following our way on the Braunton. And this track goes most of the way to Braunton. But we're actually going to leave it here when we get to the car park, and now we're going to take a few roads off. So you stick on that track and you'll go all the way into Braunton, and that can be part of your Tarka Trail. But we thought we'd leave it and go wander around, because it's, you know, it is an AONB, so we thought we'd have a look at some of the views. And as you can see, in pouring rain, thick fog, there's not much in the way of views, but you can see a little bit. Be warned that there's a lot of up and down, and you do need to be pretty fit in order to be able to cope with some of these hills that are off here. Wouldn't recommend this bit for families. So we've now hit that viewpoint, which is not a huge viewpoint, but you can see if we were to drop down to the coast, it's 23%. Now, I don't know whether you do a great deal of cycling, but 23% is like killer. Most people can't manage it, and we know we wouldn't be able to manage it. So we're following our way along here. We've returned to the original route now, and you can see, although it's around lunchtime-ish, that everybody's got their lights on because the weather's so bad. But we're following really down and around. So on the little loop that we've shown you, we're not going to go to Georgium. You can see there's a little loop round there, but keep your eye on the church there, because we're going to follow that. And we head down here, and then we're going to take a sharp right angle at some point. So we're following around. Here we go. So we've now turned, and we're going to go up over the hill. Why have we chosen to do that? Well, you have to, really. So we're going up over the hill. Now you'll see that although it's tarmacked and it's suitable for cars and things, it is pretty grumbly tarmac, and in places there's a huge amount of mud in the middle, so just be warned of that. If you're doing it in the summer, of course, it's not likely to be so much of a problem, although there may be other cars. But you can see the road surface is pretty grim on the inside edge there, and the middle of the road is just full of grass, really. So we're still heading our way up to the top of the hill, and then we'll find a road sign, and it's going to be a really hard left-hand turn. So we just joined back onto the bit of road there. These are all little tiny back roads that probably most people don't go on. You can see how narrow they are, that we have to use the lay-bys in order to allow vehicles to come past. But we're going to just turn left here. Okay, that's what I'm pointing to. Go left. And that's the really sharp angle you can see at the bottom of the page there. So we're now heading back, and this is pretty much downhill for a lot of it. The road is in places a little bit broader, but just be careful. Look, you see how muddy it is, and then there's cars coming the other way. So although it's fairly quiet and we're in the middle of February here, it's actually probably not ideal for children. Okay, so we're going to just cut off, turn left here. Now you could just actually go straight ahead at that point, and then, or essentially, and then come out up here. But we've taken the side route, and now we're going to turn right and at the church, and we're now back where we need to be. So we're now heading back on the road similar to the one we came down on, and we're going to head up, and after a while we're going to find that car park and rejoin it. But it'll take just a little while. Now just be aware of, there are horses and cars on this bit of road, and it is a little bit faster, and you can see just occasionally that there's huge holes in the middle of it. But we're going to follow past this bit, and follow around here. The fog got so much, in all truth, I think we're a bit miserable by this time, but nothing to really complain about. It was actually really nice getting out for the ride, but we knew that Hurricane Eunice was on its way, and we were camping nearby, so on the cliff tops here you're likely to get slaughtered. So we're just going to come around this next bit of road that's reasonably fast, and then we're going to leave it not very far up here. So past the parked vehicle, past the farm, and then I think it's on the left. Okay, I may have misjudged that little bit, but we're just heading up again to the top of the next hill. And then the car park's just over here. So there it goes, back into the car park. It's daft to have an National Cycle Route car park that's got a huge bar over the top of it, because you wouldn't be able to get your bikes if they're on the roof. And most people I know transport their bikes on the roof. But now we're on the railway, the disused railway. We're retracing our steps back to where we came from. You remember these series of little chicane gates, which are not easy on a tandem. They're quite straightforward for anybody else. And then at this point we came in from what we could see on the right there, and we headed left. So we've just gone straight across, and now we're on the new bit. So we've changed the map down there in the bottom right hand corner, you can see. And this is Lee Bridge, and it looks like a little nature reserve that they've got there, and we're just going to follow this track all the way down, and it's a downhill, and then there'll be some reservoirs on the left, and we did actually stop at one of them. So we stopped just here, had some lunch, flapjack. But you can actually see it was quite dark at this time, because the GoPro resolution has almost completely dropped away to nothing. So we're now heading our way. We're carrying on, back down, but we're not going to go that far. And then we just decided it was so dark, I'd put my headlight on, and we'd met that person that was walking their dog earlier on. So down here we decided that it was actually, because it was throwing with rain and we didn't really want to get into Ilfracombe, so we turned around and headed back to the car. So now we're going back up the hill. We've just come down through the tunnels, and you'll see it's still a reasonable surface, so that we haven't actually done almost anything which wasn't a tarmac surface. So whatever bike you've got, you could in theory tackle any part of this. It's just that first bit when we joined it from the main road. So if you could pick it up elsewhere, then it's not a bad route. But the rain's getting heavier, and although the camera doesn't show it, it's actually getting pretty dark by now. We've got almost no resolution, it just seems to be about 5 colours there. So we're heading our way back up to the top, and then just as you get to the top here, it starts to level out again as we get nearer to the bridge. It opens up on the sides. I think there's another bridge to come, Lee Bridge or whatever it was. So here it is opening up. And then not long after the little car park, just after the bridge here, there's some camper vans in there. Then we just chicane around that, and then we're heading back left in a second. So that may be an alternative starting point. If you can get a motorhome in there, you should be able to get bikes on the top of a car. But we just turn left, back over this bit of concrete road, and then jiggle your way through this rather chaotic bit, broken stuff here, and then back towards the main road. And our lay-by was just up here on the left. So here's a summary of the route again. We started right in the centre, and we began by heading south towards Braunton, and then we did that loop. So we left the disused railway and then followed round, did that Braunton loop, and then we headed back, picked up the disused railway, and then worked our way along the border of the AONB, which is cycle NCR 27, and headed towards Ilfracombe, and we would have got there. So here is our commute page. Please do click the little thumbs up button and then subscribe to our page. We've got loads more rides all over the country, and we really would love your support. And leave a message down below if you want, and you can click the bell icon, and then next time we release a video you'll be able to see it. But say we've got them all over the country, and we're actually planning a trip to Scotland soon, so we'll try a few in the Highlands and hopefully across to the islands. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next ride. Bye.